Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I'm Kristen, and today it's finally time to plant our tomatoes and peppers. Oh, it is already getting hot and humid out here. It is definitely time to plant the tomatoes and the peppers. I am planting the upper trellis today, and here is my garden plan. If that doesn't show up on camera, I will post a picture for you. And I have everything behind me that I need to get started. I have our tomatoes. I have more of them, not just the one. And I have our peppers here. I also have all of our down-to-earth amendments as well. So I have our oyster shells. I have our, let's see, what's the other one called? Let's see, BioLive. This is a new product I started using last year. So I have everything that I need, along with the azomite, to get started. I also have our trowel and, of course, the cups with the holes. All right, so I'll do a nice close-up shot for you so that you can see how I plant my tomatoes. You probably can't see me, but I wanted to give you a really up-close view of how I am planting this tomato. I have laid out all the tomatoes, and we're doing 4 on one side and 4 on the other, and we're alternating between Kellogg, black cherry, and then I do have 1 spoon tomato as well. So the first product I want to talk about that I use is a mycorrhizae from Plant Success Organics. Woo, say that 3 times fast. And then I also am using azomite from Down to Earth. I am using oyster shell, and I'm only using those on the tomatoes so they get their dose of calcium. And then I'm also using BioLive from Down to Earth. And I'll put a link in the description to Down to Earth's website and also the Plant Success Organics. Now with tomatoes, they are a little bit different than other plants. Oh, there is probably a sunflower growing right there. All right, so we want to loosen up the soil. And tomatoes are different because you can actually plant them really deep, because all along their stems, and I'll show you this black cherry one, you can see little tiny hairs. And anywhere that there's all these little hairs on the stems, they can actually grow roots. So when I up-potted these from their smaller seedling starting trays, I went ahead and put them into a little bit larger of a pot, and I planted them as deep as I could. And you can actually use these types of cups with the bottom on them to start them in. And you can start them off as seeds in there, and then as they grow up, you can just add more soil to them as they get taller. And it's okay if you bury the leaves. I usually go ahead and pick them off, but I want to make sure that I'm going pretty deep. So I probably want to bury them up to right about there, just kind of at this level right here. So I think that is a pretty good depth right there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the Down to Earth products in there. So there's the azomite, and then I'm going to do the oyster shells, just like that. Just a little bit, you don't need a lot. And then I'm going to do the BioLive too. So there we go. Got our 3 products in there from there, and I just kind of mix it in just a little bit. And then with the mycorrhizae, you actually, oh, look at that good root development. You actually want this to touch the roots themselves. So I just need to sprinkle a little bit on there, just like that. Kind of rub it in. And then you put this in here. And you can see that this is below soil level. For most plants, you don't do that, but for tomatoes, you can. So I just move the soil back around, give it a nice firm in, just like that. And of course, don't forget to label it. Luckily, I do have my plan all drawn up so I know what each one of these are, and you'll be able to tell the difference on tomatoes at least once they get going. And that is all that you need to do to plant the tomatoes. So I will finish up with all the tomatoes. Oh, wait, one thing. Let's see if we can get these guys into their cups too. There we go. Little bit of a tight fit. You know what? Let's do it this way instead. That way when they come out the top, it'll be a little bit easier. There we go. Kind of just have them poking out the top a little bit and firm the cup down. So you can do it either way, depending on the size of the tomato plant, or you can get these in a little bit larger size. But these are the size I have for pretty much the rest of my garden. And look, there's roly-poly right there. That's why we have the cups. We don't want the roly-polies. Oh, poor little worm. Get him buried back down into the soil too. There we go. Okay. So I know it looks a little bit funny, but pretty soon they actually will not need these cups. Oh, there's another roly-poly. Getting rid of the mulch has helped, but not completely. I still have to get rid of some of them by hand, hence the cups. All right. Now I will finish planting the rest of the tomatoes, and I will be right back after that's done. I have the tomatoes all planted, and it's getting really hot out here, so I need to finish pretty quick. The next thing that we're planting is we are going to be planting our peppers. But I was thinking about it, and you know what else is in the nightshade plant family that I have? I have my tomatillos, and I have my huckleberries. Here's the tomatillos. Let me see if I can show you. They're starting to flower. So I really need to get them in the ground, but my huckleberries are still kind of small. But luckily, I only need 3, and I planted 6 of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to double them up. So I'm going to plant 2 into 1 cup, and then that way they have a little bit of time to get established, and if any of them die off, it's okay because I've doubled them up for sure. And the tomatillos are definitely large enough that they can go in the ground. And both of those will get the exact same treatment that the peppers are getting. So let me bring you in for a closer look. All right, we're going to start off with another close-up view of the peppers. And these new lemon peppers have done really, really well. Here's one of them right here. And it's a lemon jalapeno. And I am really impressed with those seeds this year. My orange jalapenos, which is this one, hasn't done quite as well this year. So I might be looking at switching to the lemon ones from now on. All right, so same thing. Let me move this out of the way so I have a spot to put some of the soil. Now with these, they do not get the oyster shells because they don't need the calcium like the tomatoes do. But I am putting in the BioLive, and I am putting in the azomite so that I'm adding minerals back into the soil. So I'm going to put those 2 in. Take out the plant tag and be gentle. And I'm holding it by the stem when I'm doing this, and then just squeezing just a little bit like this when I'm taking them out. And then I'm just sprinkling a little bit of the mycorrhizae on there. So these ones need to be at soil level. So I'm keeping them the same soil level that they were in the containers. And then I'm just firming it in. And I'm not putting a cup on this one because this one is actually large enough that the roly-polies will leave it alone. This one, on the other hand, the banana pepper, is not. And there's another roly-poly. So I'm going to have to put a cup around it. And I actually went around and I put cups all along here for the ones that I think are going to need cups. And then the ones that don't, I didn't set a cup by. So that I know which ones are going to need their cups. And I have it all laid out because, like I said, it's getting kind of hot out here. So same treatment, a little bit of that, a little bit of this one, and don't forget to put their tags back in. And this one I'm going to have to be really careful with, because I could tell that this one, it probably doesn't have the root system the other one does. See, it doesn't. You can see that there are no roots, but I'm still going to sprinkle a little bit of the mycorrhizae on it. And I'm going to have to set this in there gently because it is falling apart. There we go. Put some of the soil back. And you could kind of firm up around it a little bit, kind of close to the stem. You just have to be careful to get it to stand up. And then I take the cup, put it over the top, kind of give it a little twist, and then I stick the label in. And it's that easy. It's just when you have like 25 of them to do, plus the other ones, the huckleberries and the tomatillos, it takes a little while. So I will bring you guys back once I have all of the peppers planted. Whew, we're finally getting some shade just as I'm finished planting. I'm going to show you the tomatoes that I have planted in their cups. And I thinned each of them to only 2 plants per cup. This black cherry tomato was just 1 plant. And this is my only spoon tomato in this cup here. And only this one survived. They did not do so great this year. And look at this. I have pumpkins starting to come up. All right, now I'm going to take you over to the peppers and show you those. Okay, I have them all planted. And then the ones that are this large, I am not putting a cup around because they're large enough I don't have to worry about the roly-polies eating them. So any of the ones you see without a cup, those ones are fine and they'll be okay. And I can show you that the zucchini is also doing good. And the broccoli is doing well in their cups too. Now I'm going to take you over to the other side where I planted the tomatillos and the huckleberries. All right, get you below the cat barrier here. All right, there's the tomatillos. And you can see that they already have a lot of buds, and I probably will be picking those off just to let them kind of get established here. And here is how I planted the huckleberries. You can see that there are 2 sets of seeds or multiple seedlings in each one of those. And I did that just in case they don't make it. I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of seeds in there. And now I'll take you over to the other garden I have these planted in too, to kind of show you what I've done over there. So there's a banana pepper that didn't need one, and then lemon jalapeno. And then I have some more in cups. That lemon jalapeno didn't need one. And there, I have one over in this area. And then I have 3 just along there. And we're getting some of the kajari and watermelon sprouting too. So there's kind of a look at everything that I've done today. Oh, no, here comes the sun again. I am really glad to have that project done, but there are a couple more things that I wanted to go over before I let you guys go for the end of the video. If you're thinning out your tomatoes like I did, and these are kind of wilty, but you can actually save these when you thin them out. Just have a cup of water with you outside, and you can go ahead and stick them in the water right away. That way they don't get wilty like this. I'm not planning on saving these because I still have a lot of tomatoes left over, but you can because they will grow roots, and then you have more tomato plants. So I will eventually thin those to just 1 plant each. Now with the peppers, they are different. You can actually leave them as 2 or 3 plants, and they give each other some support and also kind of shade out the jalapenos so that they don't get sun scald. So I do not thin my peppers. My tomatillos, I haven't thinned yet because I want to see how they do when they're from being transplanted. They might go into a little bit of shock. And also the huckleberries you saw, they're pretty small. I can't thin those out yet. But once they're probably about maybe a foot high or so, I will be thinning those all out as well. So thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Happy gardening, everyone.